So let me tell y'all something about Diddy. And I'm gonna give y'all a little bit too much of my business, but I'm gonna tell y'all that many, like maybe 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, I went to a sex club with my friends. I had never been to a sex club, and usually, if it's one of those things that I've never done and I know people that have done it, I usually ask people for advice like, oh, what's the best one to go to? What things am I going to see? And if it's actually going to, like, what is it about, basically, you know? Now, when I get there, I see things. I'm like, oh wow, they're doing this, they're doing this, they're doing that. And mind you, this is my first time going. And I remember at one point there was like this little window that you get to look through, and it's playing like a adult only video, but you can see people on the sofas doing what they're doing. At first, there was a split second that it did turn me on, and I was like, "Oh wow!" It's like live, live adult. But for some reason, that was a split second, and I'm sure I don't know if other people have experienced this. I don't know if other people have went through things like this. But there was a split second where I told myself, "This is a little animalistic." Like the click that I felt that happened in my that was happening in my brain. I said, and I started to think, if I like this voyeurism, this exhibitionist, this, I think you would call that like more like voyeurism when you're watching. And I remember asking myself, how far could this go if I like this? If this is the new status quo for me, where do I go from here? Am I going to start wanting to watch people in different places? Am I going to start to try to look at people, like peeping Tom type? What's going to be the thing that sets this off on me? And I relate this to saying I remember leaving and telling my friends I would never go back to something like that again, just because simply it just didn't feel real to me. It felt like I was creating a new reality for myself that I personally thought that I could not keep up. When it relates to the Diddy situation, I think that's exactly what's happening with Diddy. Psychology behind it of attempting something. That one line Beyonce said, "I don't need drugs to be on my freak shit." I feel like that. And I feel like when you dabble into those things, and I know people that have done threesomes and done group work and done different things, you create a new reality for yourself, a new world for yourself where this is my new thing that gives me those endorphins, that gives me that feeling of gratification after I'm done. And I'll be honest, I think not everybody has the strength to break away from it, especially when you're a man of power and you have so much things at your disposal. Your new fantasy is like jumping down the BDSM rim or the fetish rim. Not shaming or fetish shaming, but I think that becomes the new reality. And sometimes that reality takes you to places that you don't know how to come back from. So I definitely think that that's exactly what's happening, but that's why I'm speaking from my perspective. I've seen it and I was like, nah, that's too far. I'm not going to be able to hold this up and keep this up for a long time.